And gentlemen, and welcome to the show. Glad to have you guys here. It's getting toward the end of January. Today is the 22nd, Monday the 22nd of January, 2024. Thank you for tuning in. Well, let's get in here and take a look at what's going on. If my page will come up. Well, let's talk about this chart for a second. This is the leading economic indicators. And what you see is the pink lines. You're looking at recessions. And you see what's happened is there's a great financial crisis right there, that big one, right, that big recession right in the middle of that big pink line. And then we got a small little tiny recession right here. And you can see where it is right now. It's in recession. It's in recession area. But it's starting to turn back up a little bit. You know, I'm thinking about the Fed, you know. All the time through history, computers were not powerful enough to be able to run simulations on the financial system. Computers now become so much more powerful than they were. They've been increasing their power like exponentially. About every 6 months or a year, they double in strength. And they have been doing that for a long time. You know, Moore's Law. Anyway. That being said, our computers are so powerful now that they can enter in all the data and they can run simulations, just like they run war simulations on computers. They can run simulations on the financial markets. So the Fed knows at what point they're playing a game, in other words, what I'm saying here. And I think that they're trying to shoot for this, what they refer to as a soft landing. But there's a number of variables there. Even if they're running computer simulation models, there's a number of variables there. One would be the real estate market. It would be awfully hard to configure that in real time into a computer model, because there's so many extenuating factors and variables in the real estate market and a number of other markets. But it would give them a general tool that we don't have a computer. I don't have a computer that can run simulations that would be the equivalent of what the Fed would have access to. And so they're in control over vast amounts of, well, they have the printer. What is wrong with this page? Try refreshing it. Still isn't coming up. And this was my key article that I wanted this morning right here to show you guys. Very important. Boys, oh boys. As you can see, I'm having a little bit of trouble with that. I'll have to move back to it when it comes in. All I can do is keep refreshing it. Two-state solution in Israel. The world is kind of pushing for this. An awful lot of countries are pushing against it. Some countries are pushing for it. Netanyahu himself, he doesn't want it. Says EU's foreign policy chief says Israel's plan to destroy Hamas in Gaza is not working as bloc's former ministers meet. And they're talking about a two-state solution for Israel and Palestine. Let me see. I'm going to close out this page. Maybe I can get this to come in. If I close a little bit out. Come on. Being a real pain in the butt, this computer this morning. Now, Iran, there was an attack, and Iran's blaming Israel for it, and an assassination of its military advisors in the Damascus missile strike. This is serious as well. At least 5 Iranian military advisors and a number of Syrian forces were killed in an Israel missile strike on a building in Damascus on Saturday. So see, a lot of these things are tied in together. One's from one war and one's from the other. Let me turn this page off. I got an unresponsive page here someplace that's causing this trouble. Maybe it'll come in as I turn the pages out one by one. I'll turn this page off. Sooner or later, this thing will come in for me and we'll be able to do this story. Really messing me up this morning, this computer. Iran and Pakistan are rebuilding diplomatic ties. You remember a couple days ago, we had this situation where Iran and Pakistan were firing missiles at each other, and it was heating up on both sides of their border. Right now, they're rebuilding their diplomatic ties following those tit-for-tat strikes. And I kind of figured that they would sit back at the table again. It says the two Islamic republics will return recalled ambassadors on January 26th, they said in a joint statement issued Monday with Iranian Foreign Minister Hussein Amirabdollahi. That's got to be one of the worst I've ever seen. Amirabdollahian. Amirabdollahian. I'll tell you, some of these names. That's a good one, though. That is a long name, and it's got an awful lot. Very difficult to pronounce. Anyway, is this story coming in? Come on. It's frustrating sometimes, when your computer's not running the way it should be. Anyway, guys, precious metals are down today. We're looking at silver price at $22.13, and I'm going to tell you guys, it's getting just about down to the bottom of what it can get to. I would say that mining production costs varies between mines between $15 and $20, And at $22.13, man, they're chiseling it right down to the nitty-gritty of miners making a profit margin and still being able to go into the mine silver. The only thing that's saving their butts is silver is a byproduct of an awful lot of other mining costs of an awful lot of other metals. So if they're in there mining tin, zinc, copper, they get silver as a byproduct. Because it's a byproduct, but still they have to figure in the mining cost. And so we're getting right down to the nitty-gritty of it here, and they're keeping it right down on mining production costs with a very small margin of profit for the miners at $22.15. See, it gets up to around $24. They got a little bit more wiggle room. Right now, they've cut into their wiggle room at this point. Taking a look at the gold price today. Gold today is $23.60 right now. So staying over 2,000, but just barely. Cryptocurrency today, Bitcoin is 40,520, and Ethereum is at 23.66, and looking at XRPs at 52.7 cents. I'm going to close out a few of these pages and see if that has an effect and being able to get my other page to come in. Closing out stories I've covered already, because I want that first story because it's important. Now, taking a look at the stocks today, Dow Jones Industrial Average today is up 126 points on the day at 37,991. Now, just a few minutes ago, it had crossed the 38,000 mark is a very high market right now, setting all new time highs. You know what I mean? Against a backdrop of what? High interest rates. We're playing with this thing. See if I can get this original story I want in about the drone attacks on Russia. It's being a little bit of an unresponsive the computer, and I'm not sure exactly why. We're going to keep moving through these stories, and perhaps that story will come in. If it doesn't, I'm just going to talk about it to you guys. So, here we're looking at the crude oil, and we're taking a look at bonds and rates today right here. We're looking at falling yields on our bonds. Now, the U.S. 10 years fell 5.2 basis points. It's at 409. And the U.S. 30 years at 4.31. It's fell 4.1 basis points today. Taking a look at the dollar index, it's at 103.26. And the dollar index is going along sideways. Now, I'm going to shut these pages down, see if I can get this story to come in. Now, there's only one story on here, and this is my main story for today, and that's why I'm concerned wanting to get it to come in. I think this is a story that's causing so much trouble, too. Anyway, what it is they're doing drone attacks on Russia's oil infrastructure. They haven't done a whole lot of damage as of yet. Why this is important is Russia, in order for them to get their oil out to export, these facilities and stuff where they keep it and stuff have to be kept. It's their money. This is what it amounts to, really. It's their money. This is how they make their money in Russia, is selling things like oil. Oil money is one of their big revenue sources. And they're not going to put up with it being attacked. It's just the same way. You seen how the United States, when the Houthis were attacking the ships, and I told you guys, I said, hey, listen, this is their money. It's their precious. They didn't put up with it. They went right in and airstrikes on the Houthis in Yemen. And that's when I told you guys it was their precious. Well, this is Russia's precious. So that's why I'm saying these drone attacks that are menacing Russia's key routes for exporting oil, they're not going to tolerate that. We're in a situation right now in the world where war is wanting to expand something awful. I've never actually lived to witness a period like this before, so this is all new to me too. I've never seen a period in history like this where the nations are so wrathful that they want to go to war. Almost all of them are wanting to war against somebody else, and they're not thinking peace any longer. They're thinking, I just don't know what triggered this. And it's almost like a sea change in the way the world leaders think about war and peace. And I think what's triggering it is the fact that it's the culmination of a long period of the financial system getting into this because of it set up on a Ponzi scheme. All the countries on Earth getting into this period where they're either fighting inflation or deflation, or their financial systems are not working properly. Could be a key indicator of why. Because Gerald Celente, before all this started, and this is a few years ago, he said, listen, when all else fails, in other words, their financial systems are on the rocks and everything's going bad for them, he says they take you to war. Now, I kind of really didn't listen to what he was saying so much back then because we were at peace back then. But now I can see, now that the financial systems are starting to fall apart, this is exactly what they do. They take you to war. And this is the whole world right now is on the brink. But, we can't wage war like we've waged war in the past. Yes, we can, actually. One way we can have conventional wars. I mean, Russia's over there in a conventional war right now. And so is Ukraine, fighting back in a conventional fashion. But why I say we can't have conventional wars is they chew through armaments like crazy. Bing, bang, bing, they blow off all their armaments. What happens at the point where you have your conventional war, they fight it out, say between, Russia and the United States or North Korea and South Korea or whatever. They start fighting it out, and they start to run out of conventional armaments, and it comes right down to the nitty-gritty then at that point. Invasion of the other country. And they got hardly any conventional armaments left to fight with. In other words, they run out of bullets. What happens then? Well, then they got their nuclear stockpiles. If it's the superpowers, or even these countries, other countries that have nuclear weapons, like Pakistan or North Korea or I could go on a long list of these countries that aren't the superpowers that have nuclear weapons arsenals themselves. So it's not just Russia and America that have nuclear weapons. Other countries have them too. One of the things I'm pleased about is the fact that Canada doesn't have any. But an awful lot of these other countries do. They're just soaked. Especially some of these smaller countries, like say North Korea, for instance. Considerable nuclear power, considering the size of their country. And it was shocking to me yesterday when they're testing this new underwater nuke, which is very sophisticated technology. At any rate, it looks like this story's not going to come in. And so I'm going to have to close out the show without having this story, and that's a little bit disappointing to me. Page unresponsive, whatever that means. Thank you guys for listening to the show. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode. You guys have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.